What's up, guys? This is That Really Gross Guy, and we are back with Warframe. And today I'm going to actually be bringing you two quick gameplays. One with my girl, Ivara, my huntress, and the other one is going to be with my prankster frame, Mirage. And with this, actually, before we get into it, I want to say thank you to all my peeps, my subscribers, and all of that for, I'm getting close to 100 subscribers. I actually got something planned for my 100 subscriber, when I pass 100 subscribers, something pretty cool, something a little bit different, actually a lot different, but it's something that you guys are probably interested in. Hopefully you guys enjoy that when it comes out. Be a little bit of a surprise, but if you guys enjoy firearms, then you should check that out for sure. But yeah, with that said, let's get right into it. This is Ivara, and I am running with the Rakta Cernos, as well as the Talons and the Serrata, the Throwing Glaive. And this actually, I've thrown this in my themed Warframes, as well as pretty much all my Warframes are in the themed area. If you guys have not seen that, I did a series of my themed Warframes. That'll continue as more Warframes come out. But here we are with my Huntress, rocking the sweet purple, dark blue, and light blue. Kind of a cool, almost like a nighttime color. Almost like when the sun's going down and you see that purpley, bluish, dark, like sky. That's kind of how I depicted this Ivara. Pretty cool, pretty sweet, and I accidentally have the wrong Sentinel equipped, so that is actually my Ember-based Sentinel sitting up there. But yeah, so she's pretty fun. I definitely like using her. The reason why I set up all these weapons is because of her second ability, which I actually don't have. As you can see, she is super squishy because I think I'm only like level 2 or 3 with her. I basically just did like a really early level weapon just to get the hang of her first ability, but actually I don't know, I think my controls are set up differently, or I can't figure out how to actually switch the first primary skill, so basically I've been using that cloak that you just saw there. But yeah, that's basically the basics of my Ivara. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about something different today. For these videos, I'm actually going to be doing quite a bit of these videos, probably one a day. Let me know if you guys think one a day is a lot. I will run out of things to talk about, but at least one a week for sure. We'll talk about something just life, like a life thing, and I'm around my nephews quite a bit. My nephews are kind of gamers. They kind of talk to me and sometimes check out the channel, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to my nephews if you're watching. But yeah, one of my nephews likes to say, "What if?" a lot. What if I had? What if I won the lottery? Or what if I just had $1 million? What if this? What if just, I don't know. Every time he has a reason for wanting something, comes up with a what if. And I kind of want to talk about being the age I am, relatively young, but old enough to have made mistakes in my life for sure. I kind of just want to mention kind of the what if mindset. And if you guys are young, I want to maybe persuade you a little bit, and some of you guys that are older will probably understand this and probably back me up on this, but I want to kind of bring up that what if mentality. When you're a young kid, it's okay, it's cool to imagine, and there's nothing wrong with wondering sometimes what it would be like for certain things. However, when you're young and you say, "Oh, what if I grow up and I do this?" Or "What if I became rich? What if?" And I like to say, I used to be a pretty negative person when I was younger, doing the teenage dumb stuff and, you know, girls and whatnot. But I've had my fair share of bad relationships. But anyways, let's go into a what if scenario. What if I was rich? What if me and her never broke up? What if this and that? And there are some things in life you can't necessarily control. It's not meant to be, but you can kind of argue that as well. If you wonder, like, if you spend your whole life wondering what if, you're not gonna get anywhere. You have to do something about that what if. You have to go out and seek that dream you have, those what ifs. And in my life, I've kind of learned that you can't control everything, but you can control how it affects you, and you can usually do something about it, whether it's maybe just change what you do to maybe learn the second time around, or just maybe change the way you look at it. But let's go with a financial part of a what if. As a kid, you go, what if I was rich? What if I could do this? What if this and that? Well, when you're young, I suggest, it's really up to the parent and how much they reinforce certain things that a kid gets involved in and what they choose to do with their lives. But it's good at a young age to, number one, have fun, but also kind of embrace what you're good at. And this is something I didn't really do when I was younger. I kind of dabbled in a lot of things and was decent at a lot of things, but I was never number one. I was always second place. And that sounds terrible, but that's okay. Sometimes you need to, I feel like sometimes maybe when I was younger, if I had just learned to focus on one thing, or okay, there's a what if right there, but that's maybe as a kid, if you find something that you are good at, focus on it and hone your skills and become better at it. That's going to get into my next point. But if you're good at, say you go, what if I became a professional football player? Well, it's good to dream, but you can also go out and maybe go play catch, go make some friends and play catch and whatnot. Just practice. You will get better, and you need to get better. You can't, you just can't expect to become good at something and put no time and effort into it. Make some friends. There's nothing wrong with making some friends. It's okay to be a little bit, laid back and whatnot. But one thing I also wanted to, or should have learned when I was a kid, I would have liked to have learned, is to get more involved. And that's in things like, I tried out for the basketball team, and I was good at basketball, but my problem was I didn't want to go to the summer camp. I didn't want to, these kids were, kind of, I didn't really get along with a couple of the kids, and some of the kids I kind of did, but it was like, the time and the effort to do it, why can't I just be good at it? So I would go out and I'd play a little bit of basketball with friends and whatnot, just some pickup games, and I never practiced like crazy to become good at it. And I didn't make the team because, number one, I didn't make those friends, and sometimes, unfortunately, in life, it's about who you know. There are times where you kind of need to know somebody. If your talent shows, but if you also have someone that has your back and says, yep, he's good at what he says. Oh, here's Mirage. Here comes Mirage, my prankster. But yeah, if you can have someone that has your back and says, yo, he's good at this, and I can vouch for him, that's a big deal. That's a big deal when you're older, especially, when it comes to jobs and whatnot. If you have someone that can vouch for you and says, I stake my job on his work ethic or something like that, that's a big deal when you're older. It's taken very seriously as an adult. But I digress a little bit. But yeah, I didn't make the team, and I was kind of bummed. I could have done a lot more about it. And then I went on to do some other things. I ran track and field just to stay in shape. I was in great shape for a while, and I practiced like crazy. But I always took second, and that's okay. The chances of me becoming a professional athlete are 1 in God knows how many numbers. So, that's not very likely. But I went on to college to do athletic training, and I could have proceeded through the athletic training major and actually worked with athletes or done something. So that would have been a great life. And kinda at that age, just kinda, I don't want to say it, I want to blame it on something, but I was foolish and I kind of messed the opportunity up. Number one, because I kind of had that what if mentality. What if I could do this? What if I became, smart overnight and got good grades in college? I got decent grades, but it wasn't enough. In a field like that, you need good grades, like outstanding grades, to become well paid, to make a lot of money. And that was my goal, was to make a lot of money. And I didn't really realize that you need to do something you love. It's more important to do something you love. And if I was a kid and I focused on the things I loved and practiced and practiced and practiced on the things I loved, then I may have been better off. I'm doing this today, YouTube and whatnot, because I love it. I mean, I've only got, this is one of my first, I don't want to say my first videos, but early on in my YouTubing career, and who knows how far it's going to go, but I'm willing to put effort into it because I love this, and I've realized at this age that I absolutely love doing this, and I can sit here no problem and talk about something like this, and it's going on 12 minutes here, and I can keep on going. I have plenty more to talk about, and I don't even know if I can cover it all in this 20 minutes, so I apologize if I can't, but this will probably come up a few times in my career, talking about things like this. But yeah, when it comes to what if, what you should try to do, and this is just kind of getting to the point, is, like I said, focus on the things you love and take advantage of your skills in that part of, in that hobby or whatnot. And if you choose to make that your career, then put your heart into it and don't be afraid to get some negative feedback. Negative feedback is positive feedback, because if someone tells you, hey, you're not doing this right, or this or that, then you have the choice to fix it. You're not going to get to where you want to be by saying, oh, what if I did this, or what if I did that. You have the ability to accomplish that goal if you put your heart and mind to it. So yeah, so that's kind of a financial thing. There are things, like I said, that you can't control. If you are young and you've had bad relationships, if you're old and you've had bad relationships, there are things that you can't control. I've left a relationship strictly due to I wanted to go to a certain college and pursue a certain degree and have a certain lifestyle, and the person I was interested at the time chose to have a different type of lifestyle, and her degree required her to live in a world where things were super fast-paced, and you had to live a certain type of way, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it kind of drove us apart. And eventually it was just like, you're going off and doing things your way, I'm going to go off and do things my way, and that's totally okay. That's something that just won't work because it's not meant to be. And that kind of goes against the, oh, well, you can do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it, and that kind of goes against kind of what I've been saying. But you need to be able to recognize things like that and go, you know what, some things you don't have control over, and it's okay, and things will be alright, because as long as I pursue what makes me happy, eventually in the long run, and maybe even in the short run, you never know what happens. Maybe you bump into, maybe you go out for coffee and you bump into somebody. Here's a what if. You bump into someone who has their stuff in order and makes money and says, "Hey, I like what you do," or you meet someone through a friend, and they lead you to a path that is going to be very successful for you. That's great and all, but you can't rely on those things. You have to be able to focus on what you love and seek those things out and make a career for yourself. Take it if you have those opportunities to, someone says, "Hey, I'm successful," or that they're successful at a certain thing, and you say, "Hey, man, I would love to work with you on something, anything. I would like to help you out, free of charge." Especially, a lot of people get places, become successful because they do things out of the kindness of their heart. A lot of photographers become successful, like say someone is a photographer and goes and does like weddings and special events and stuff like that. A lot of them start out, some in college, by putting together a portfolio, and they go to someone and say, "Hey, you're having a wedding. Can I take photos of your wedding free of charge? I will have photos for you and your wife and all of that stuff for free, as long as I can use your pictures in my portfolio to show businessmen, and when I'm looking for a job, show them the quality of the things I do to show that I'm good at what I do." And that's one way of doing something out of the kindness of your heart and pursuing something with everything you have, and literally everything you have. It might cost you something. It might cost you quite a bit sometimes, but in the long run, those people that have done that end up on top. They end up doing 3 or 4 special things for somebody, and maybe they meet someone through it, or maybe they build up a portfolio and put their heart into the quality of their work, and at some point someone's going to see it and they're going to need what you have. They're going to want what you got, and that's good. That works in your favor. So like I was saying, focus on those things when you are young, and try to get rid of, or not get rid of, but try to think in a what can I do to achieve that goal, instead of saying what if I won the lottery. Well, what if you spent the time to learn how to, or what if I spent the time working a minimum wage job, so that, and this sounds terrible, what if I worked a minimum wage job so I could afford a few $100s for a nice camera, a nice professional camera. Usually it's anywhere from $600 to $1,000. What if I spent a few months, saved that money up, and got a $1,000 camera, and then I went to some of my friends or family or some of their friends of friends, and while they're having their wedding, offer for free to take pictures of their wedding and provide them with something wonderful and something that they would have to pay a lot of money out of their pocket to do, just so that I can build a portfolio, make myself look presentable and professional, and then in the long run you can go to a job and maybe for a big company, and next thing you know, you're hired on as a job and you are making a fairly good amount of money, and eventually working your way up that job chain, if that's how you choose to go. If you want to work for somebody, you can work your way up and make more money and become a better leader in that job field. Or if you work on your own, you can just better yourself and your skills, and eventually work the hours you want to work and take vacation when you want to take vacation, because you schedule your time and your money, and that's just how things are. And that's one thing that I want to do. I want to be able to do something I love and be able to make time for the important things without worrying about a boss who, someone who says, oh well, you can't take that day off because we need you to be here. Well, if you work for yourself, you can prepare for those days, do what you can to be successful, and you can afford to have those days off, or if something crazy happens and you need to do something, then you aren't afraid of the consequences of doing something that is drastic or spur of the moment. But we're getting down to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that was relatively inspirational. I'm a newbie and I have very few subscribers, but yeah, hopefully this reached somebody, and maybe this will be watched far in the future and someone will enjoy it. If you did like the video, it'd be awesome to drop a subscription if you enjoyed and you have not subscribed here yet. And if you guys would like to share the inspiration to anyone else, feel free, and I appreciate it, guys. And until next time, take it easy, YouTube.